Ich habe die Provokation nicht angestrebt. Es ist lediglich eine Methodik, wenn du arbeitest, dass du...
I didn't set out to be provocative. It's merely a method in my work, not to block ideas from my mental horizon. This is the only path that will lead you to the point where you can exceed your own limits. The results may even be quite familiar. It might be a product that doesn't polarize, but still has a certain eroticism.
Es kann aber auch in so einer Methodik dann ein Produkt entstehen, das...
But with this method, a product may take a form that leads you much further on a different level.
Das ist am Schluss zu einer ganz starken...
So you do end up with tremendous provocation and polarization. That happened with the birdfish.
Although the birdfish is limited to 500 pieces, its extravagant appearance helped it become one of the most important guitars of the 20th century in record time.
In diesem Konzept steckt natürlich jetzt eine quasi unendliche Anzahl.
This concept incorporates unlimited tonal combinations.
Und ich habe mich dann darauf beschränkt, nachdem ich diese Gitarre als Set definiert habe.
After defining this guitar as a set, I limited myself to the extreme tonal possibilities.
Habe ich mich auf Swamp Ash,
The body resonators are made of swamp ash or maple.
Ahorn geeinigt.
The maple resonators are red, swamp ash are blue, as you can see here.
Bei den Tonabnehmern habe ich mich auf...
For the pickups, you can choose between 3 humbuckers with different output characteristics and different frequency ranges.
Die einmal links gewickelt sind und einmal der eine ist links gewickelt, der andere ist
And there are
rechts
2
gewickelt.
single-coil pickups reversely coiled to get this humbucking effect.
Natürlich wäre es jetzt denkbar, noch spezielle andere Tonabnehmer.
Of course, I could have created even more pickups, but my intention was to make a statement. There's more than one way to make a guitar.
Like many national and international colleagues, my first thought was, what a terrible thing. Then you play it and realize it's unbelievable. Why didn't anybody come up with this idea before? And finally, you even find the spirit of Leo Fender in this guitar. Everything he did has just been transformed into the new century.
A New Age Stratocaster, if you will. You could even call it a Space Age guitar.
Ein ganz großes Vorbild.
In terms of processing an idea, my big idol is Leo Fender.
Ich selbst mache keine Industriegitarren.
Since I don't mass-produce guitars, he's not really a role model for my work. This would be an anachronism. My guitars are handmade.
Aber die Art, wie denkt.
But the way he thinks, the way he shoots without hesitation, has a very high quality and is reflected in his guitars. You can really tell by looking at his guitars that Leo didn't accept endless discussions. He always had the great idea in mind, the master plan, the visual concept, even if some people helped him make the blueprints. His guitar was meant to be simple and easy to produce, and the simplicity should be visible too. This was the theme of his guitar, and he was unwavering in his approach. He didn't talk rubbish like other manufacturers at that time. Leo simply turned his visions into reality.
Ich habe das Thema eben weiter definiert.
I tried to take his idea of a modular guitar to the next level. When I use the term modular, I don't base it on the production process of the old Fender facility. For example, Hall A necks, Hall B bodies, and Hall C electronics, and then on to the assembly. I tried to expand the term modular, which already stands for the Fender guitar sound-wise. I had to find a way to make the modules easily exchangeable and then supply the player with parts that resonate differently. The sound can be altered from softer to punchier, and I supply the different pickups which sound warmer or brighter. The guitar player is ultimately able to exchange the parts himself in a split second.
His idea to make interchangeable tone woods for the birdfish is brilliant. It really sounds like two different guitars, a swamp ash Strat or an alder Strat. Simply unbelievable.
Ich habe ein sehr, sehr deutliches und mittlerweile stark fixiertes Klangideal und spüre auch deswegen.
Like Jörg Tandler, to whom I feel closely related, I have a definite and distinct sound ideal. I constantly work on this sound ideal. My instruments have more in common with a Strat than with a Les Paul, and you can definitely hear it. This is my idea of a perfect sound. I can't tell you why, but I think most musicians can relate to this. You're either a Les Paul guy or you love the tone of a Strat. Of course, there are some derivatives in between, but people usually tend to prefer one of these two sounds. I have to admit, I really love the Stratocaster. I love the percussive sound, the imperfection in its tone, the quick attack, and the throatiness. That's what I really like about it. I don't know exactly why, maybe because the Strat's not perfect. It doesn't have that final eternity-like attitude. The Stratocaster never claims, "Here I am, I'm the best, any questions?" It's the guitar which admits I'm not perfect, but on a good day, I can make people cry.
We make completely different guitars, but in my eyes, the birdfish really takes the cake. This guitar would definitely not fit me. I mean, you really have to know who you are to play the birdfish.
Ich glaube, das ist ein Effekt, der uns auch passiert, wenn wir uns mal was.
Isn't this something that happens to all of us from time to time? We go out and buy some new clothes, but we're not confident enough to wear them immediately. They might be just a bit too extravagant or a little bit too daring. But one day we put them on and they feel just right. The same thing might happen to you with this guitar. Playing the birdfish on stage is a strong statement. You'll be watched closely by the audience. When you take this guitar on stage, you know there'll be a confrontation, at least a little bit, even if you'd never say so. And this is where pop begins, the fight with this machine.
Ulrich originated as a guitar maker, but he has also studied arts. He has truly perfected the fusion of these two elements.
I can tell that my work has evolved from basic guitar making to a more artistic approach. But I don't think that this will lead to instruments that aren't playable or that only represent art. If this were the case, I'd probably create reproductions or copies of guitars. I'd model guitars, take photographs of them, or even paint them. These would be works of art, guitars that no one could play.
Aber im Moment interessiert mich eigentlich immer noch die Schaffung von.
But right now I still create real musical instruments which are dedicated to a specific expression. My personal definition of art doesn't match the way I create guitars. Therefore, I would never consider myself an artist. I'd rather call myself a person who lives or works in an artistic way. I'm still too much of a luthier.